name is Michael and not John. Both good Italian names. I love this woman. What's happening? Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Great.
I unloaded 2 full pallets and another full order, a giant order of Italian foods today. So I am in a strange mood. But we got it done. We literally can't, here, hold on, this my love. We literally can't move this centerpiece because look at it, I can't move that. That is so precarious. So enjoy taking selfies with those cookies. And we also have panettone that all came in today, of which I've cut up some samples, which we'll mangia later when we eat, which I think me and Katie are gonna do just a little chat, and then we'll open it up to Q&A, and then it'll be like, we'll ask you what you made if you made something, and then we'll just eat and hang out, and Katie will sign your book, and party. We'll blast the Italian 60s fun party music.
Va bene.
Yes, va bene va bene is what I like to say. So, oh wait, I wrote some random scribblings behind there. Thank you.
That's right.
Yeah. Also, I might need a Halls later, if you could give me one of those later too.
You got it.
If I go out.
Halls on deck.
Yes, I'm not sick, I just find that, you know.
Good for your voice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, first of all, it's an honor to have Katie Parla here. Let's all give her a big round of applause. It's been a minute. We did a few fun things, maybe like for tasting, for 8 years ago, maybe, something like that.
Food of the Italian South.
Food of the Italian South. Such a great book. Basically, you know, Katie writes the books that we want to read that, like, I think that being an Italian freak is a specific thing. We're freaks in a very specific way. And I feel like this book, more than any other book, is the most you and is the most speaking to my freak, because like it's just a beautiful mixture of, oh, Ari, can you close the door?
Yeah, right.
Thank you. It's the night's behind me and I can't handle it. Too much.
Ci prendo un colpo.
Yes, I'm very sensitive.
Fai male.
Oh, is that the way you say the
Un
night's
colpo.
behind me?
Oh, ti prendo un colpo.
Oh, sì, sì.
Un cervicale. We're talking about ailments caused by
course.
air on your body, especially in the neck area.
I don't speak very good Italian, but my friend Juliana, who's from Italy, tells me about these ailments all the time, and she's always saying that she's gotten sick from like the wrong brush of air.
Right. I'm very concerned almost no one has a scarf on right now, honestly. You're popping that collar for a reason. You're protecting.
I love it. But yes, so there's so much history, there's sort of ridiculously, obviously delicious recipes. There was like an interview recently, there's also a lot of political like history with food, which I appreciate a lot. And there was like a recent interview with Nick Kroll. Did you see the one where he talks about how he was like, it's fine, Italian food's fine.
Okay, I have to tell you something. I gave Nick Kroll 100 recommendations and he didn't listen to one of them.
Oh my God, I knew there was a reason I was bringing this up.
And I'm furious. He trusted some people that live in LA. No shade.
Yeah.
But like,
no, there's
we love the
shade,
LA
shade.
people, but
Yeah.
who are you gonna listen to?
No, and it's like when there's that thing for me where, you know, you talk about Italian food and you're like, yeah, it's fine, because there's a gnosis that when you're there, you're like, oh, the parsley is actually this really specific form of mint, and it takes on this whole other layer of flavor and nostalgia and like poetry, because it's extremely regional. It only is around for 3 weeks. They find it on the side of a road. You can't get it in the market, and it has like a very magical and distinct, and it's the kind of thing where like it's a mystery I have to solve. Mm-hmm. So you solve a lot of those mysteries, I think, for people that are like really interested in, you know, these memories that you have from going to Rome and being like, what was that? Or just why we all love Italian food, because it's extremely temporal and like, you know, but at the same time ancient.
They're called chicche. So any Italian speakers here tonight? We got Joseph in the house, Lucy, yes. Heck yeah, right on. So chicche Like chiche di caffè are coffee beans, but like una chica, this is probably only Roman, but it's slang for like something that's like super, like a super tip, a hot insider detail. So I wanted to drop all the chica.
Yeah, this is what you've done, and I love this. Like, and this is also, I think, what makes it feel like, especially when you have Italian ancestry or any kind of just love for Italy, that you just feel like the most kind of buzzy and bubbly about, you just I love this culture so much and love this food so much. So yeah, talk a little bit about the wanting to put in this more holistic put together this more holistic type of book, and also maybe a little bit like why you could do that.
Yes.
By self-publishing.
Exactly. So Rome is heavy. I see a few of you struggling under its weight in the crowd because it's 3 books. It's a culinary history, really the history of Rome from the Iron Age to the present, told through the lens of food. It's 110 recipes, and then a field guide, or kind of like a guidebook, how, where, and when, really, to eat and drink. And so I wanted to bring together what I thought was like a 360-degree view of the city, but that also mirrored what my career and my experience with the city has been. So I started out writing guidebooks. I've had a food tour company for 20 years almost, and I write cookbooks. And so these 3 sections, even though they are distinct stylistically in the book, they're really part of a whole. And the reason that I was able to get away with this is because I published it myself. And so this is the second solo title of Parla Publishing. The first was Food of the Italian Islands. It's 100% made in Italy. The design is absolutely off the rails. The photography is shot completely in situ. There's no studio photography at all. And so it's exactly the visual and stylistic and gastronomic story that I wanted to tell in order to impart like all the knowledge gleaned from not just living in Rome, but like sharing tables and being in kitchens and baking and feasting with people for a couple of decades. And it's substantial, right? So this isn't something you're gonna put in your pocket and like go on a pizza tour of Trionfale with, but hopefully it'll be a good primer so you can prepare your trip. And then if you're like, oh my God, I wanna go to this place, I have this best pizza, blah, 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 then you can go recreate it at home. And then you can trace the history of that in the introductory matter.
I love that. And like when, can you sort of talk a little bit about, and I don't, you don't need to get into great detail, but that sort of eating of the elephant as far as taking on this self-publishing project a few years ago, and just like how much knowledge you had, and then going into it, like how because I feel like you also are, you take on, I feel like you're not afraid of big projects. Mm-hmm. You're someone that as a young person moved to across, the pond very early. Like, so just a little bit about you and how you took it on.
So, I'm happy to be very honest about finances and everything. I don't know if anybody here cares about the money aspect of publishing.
I love talking about money. I've been posting how little we've made for the whole year.
It's a whole thing, guys. But essentially, when you work for a traditional publisher, you receive an advance on royalties, and you get paid out in quarters or thirds, and usually that's not enough money to make the book, and you have to hire the photographer and handle the tester and do all of these things that are just so profoundly challenging. From you become a project manager, but no one teaches you how, and you have to figure out how to make it all work and also deliver a product while also having another job that supports the writing. And so it's a pretty difficult business when you're working in a traditional sense, unless you have another income. Yeah. And so after a long time of writing books, I've written 40 books, and 10 I know they're almost all out of print guidebooks that are much lighter than this one, but it's a lot of books. And so I just remember I signed up to write the National Geographic guide to Rome called Walking Rome, and the editor was like, I 100% will put your name on the cover, which was my demand in exchange for only being paid $2,000 to write a very, very intense book about Rome for National Geographic. And when my name wasn't on the cover, I was like, I got burned. Damn, I'm a dummy. And of course, that was just one instance in a long line of not being protected by my editors or my publisher, and not having my like my well-being, my way of supporting myself be sufficient. And so yeah, like I just always have kind of been entrepreneurial. I've always bet on myself. Does anyone remember like the Katie Parla's Rome app?
Oh yeah.
R.I.P. I had a mobile app company. When I got burned by National Geographic, I decided, okay, I'm going to own my intellectual property and distribute it on a mobile app. There's a reason that regular people don't have mobile apps. It's very expensive, very difficult to maintain, and if you don't code, you're kind of screwed if your developer ghosts you. But I just always wanted to have like more control over the economic aspect.
Yeah.
Because writing is like beautiful and it's amazing and it's like a compulsion also, but it also like shouldn't impoverish us ideally.
Totally.
And so yeah, like launching the independent projects was like, it was just a matter of sitting down for 15 minutes and doing a spreadsheet like, can I sell enough books to cover my expenses? I have a tour company so I could fund it. And will this be something that I could produce in a way that is like a very high quality product? And once I sort of envisioned what Food of the Italian Islands would look like, that was the experiment. And then Food of the Italian Rome, not the name of the book, not the book title. And then Rome was the sort of second proof of concept, and is actually like much higher quality, like just a beautiful work of printing. Because there's also like a learning curve. Like you start with one printer, you realize what they're capable of, and then you go onto the market, you see what's out there, and there's a lot of printing. Like this is offset printing, right? We're not talking about like people moving little letters around. No, this is offset printing. It's an industrial factory that does these books, but they're so obsessed with printing, and these are people who are part of a culture in Italy that's dying. People who went to like high school and sort of trade school to learn how to do typesetting and to create beautiful books, and so they don't take anything for granted, and so I can only take credit for the words in this book, the way that it feels, like the way the paper smells. Like I can smell that book from here. Those are good. It's a good paper with good ink. The way that the design is like kinetic and gives you this like chaos of Rome on the page.
Yeah.
That's Ian Dingman. The print is Rotolito. The photos are Ed Anderson. And so it's really about like assembling a team that can do like what they think Rome is and then bringing it all together.
Yeah, you said chaos, and I definitely feel like you're someone that thrives in chaos. Like,
See.
You got to Rome and you're like, all right.
Yeah,
like it's nuts there, and you're just like, yeah.
No, I mean, my first trip to Rome was in 1996. This is before the Jubilee of the Millennium, when they were like trying to like make Rome look nice. They hadn't succeeded yet, and it was like very chaotic. Everyone in my class, I went with my Latin class, everyone got pickpocketed twice.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Bayer, my English teacher that went on the Latin trip, got pickpocketed twice. Yeah. She had a Rolex, she shouldn't have had that on. So she got pickpocketed, she was a target. That's on her. But I was
they
like,
followed
this
her
is
right off the plane. They're
100%. But I was like, this is my place. And then you can see like in the food, in like just the textures of the city, there's like kind of this disordine, like a bit of disorder, but like when you take it as a whole, it actually is pretty harmonious.
What was I gonna ask? I was gonna ask something. Oh, so like when you were talking, you did the foods of Italy, and that was like kind of the experiment. I feel like this is like your like, never mind the bollocks or the Sex Pistols. Like this is like your self-titled, like the reintroduction of like yourself to the food world all over it, because this is just it feels like a reintroduction, and I just was wondering, like, why this book? Why now? Like, why not the first one that you like? Where was your head at with that?
Well, I mean, I could write whatever I wanted. If I pitched to an editor, I want to do like 40,000 pages on the history of Rome from the Iron Age to the present, seen through the lens of food. They'd be like,
wait
no.
To read it.
I mean, I think it's an interesting topic, but it's not something that necessarily like an acquiring editor would say like that. Yes, let's do that, because it makes the book longer. It makes it more expensive for them to produce.
Yeah.
And why now? I mean, I'm not quite there, but I'm approaching like a quarter century in Rome, and I feel like I'm just kind of all over the place with a lot of the things that I do. I wanted to bring all the guiding, all the writing, all the recipe development under one cover, and so this is the result.
And like when you have your, I feel like you, do you love doing research? Like, are you a freak with research? Like, do you have synchronicities? Do you, like, what happens when you're like, have research Katie hat on? Like, where do you go? What's your favorite thing to do?
I mean, I love doing research. I go to archives and libraries and like look at, like the average caloric intake of a Roman laborer in Testaccio in 1925 and compare that to like 1935, 45. Like the Italians are incredible because they generate so much data and print it in huge volumes that are available in public libraries.
Yeah.
And then there's some other like smaller archives where you can go research, but yeah, I really hate the writing part, so I try to like do all the research and then.
So surprised. I'm really surprised.
Don't enjoy it.
Your writing's really good. I'm surprised that you feel that way. The writing is very good.
Thank you for saying that, but I hate every second of it. So the research is fun.
Yeah. No, it's painful. It's painful. I'm gonna open it up in a second. So if you have a question, feel free to start formulating it in your other brain. So yeah, I mean, I feel like you talk about like a lot of the tangible, or sort of, I was thinking about Rome and how so much of it is very tangible, why we love it. Like the food is amazing, you know, the history, incredible, but can you talk a little bit about the sort of like intangible parts of Rome that you love? Yeah,
I mean, delicious like guanciale laced carbonara is very easy to love.
Yes.
A trattoria 100 meters from the Pantheon is like very easy to love, and we should love those things. They're excellent. But I also love the peripheral neighborhoods that I visit for eating pizza tonda made with like a mattarello, really, really thin, risking my life on the Via Prenestina and the Via Casalina. Joseph knows what I'm talking about to get there.
Crustless pizza or different?
Yeah, so Roman pizza tonda, the round one, has barely any rim, right?
Yum.
All the bubbles made during fermentation are like squeezed out with the
Edge.
rolling pin.
Pizza Hut, The Edge.
See?
Long Island, 1993.
100%. And you put the toppings almost all the way to the edge. The dough and pizza toppings are in the book, so you'll see photos where you can reproduce it yourself. But like just leaving the center and going to every possible neighborhood, whether there's something food related or not, and realizing that Rome is like thousands of Romes really. And we have this phrase that's evoked a lot in Italian, tante piccole realtà, so like a lot of small realities.
Wait, let's all learn that.
Tante piccole realtà. So that's the idea that like there's this one little miniature thing that's like a world, right? And we have so many of those. I know, right? It's so sexy. And that's, I mean, it's very loaded to say like authentic or real, but I think like Rome, like of course it exists in the center. Like I would never say like don't go to all the central places, but if you're focusing just on a singular idea of the city, then you're missing the like other thousands of realities. But the book will tell you where to go and what to eat while you're there.
I love that. Okay, my very last question is just how Ciao. Welcome. Is just how Romans are different from other people in Italy. What makes a Roman a Roman?
I mean, you can watch many films to see Romans stereotyped. They're
let's just get right into it.
No, I mean, like the stereotype is that like Romans will like charm the pants off of you, and that they're ci provano sempre. They're always like trying to get one up on you, but in a way that's like adorable and charming. They're not trying to steal your money, but if they do, like they're kind of stoked about it. And if you catch them, they're more stoked about it. But you know, every city and village has like a pretty unique character, and Romans are like, they're standoffish and they're warm and they're suspicious but they're curious. So they've got a lot going on. There's a lot under the surface, and they love the idea of their city, and they also lie about their origins, which is a theme that we get into in the book. So Italian speakers will understand this. People that you encounter will say like, Sono Romano di Roma, which means I'm Roman from Rome. That is code for I have 7 generations of Romans in my family tree. Almost nobody does, which means everyone's lying. And so this idea of like branding yourself as a Romans are actually usually not originally from the city, but like first, second, third generation or new arrivals that have like are so desperate to belong to this dope ass place that they tell you Sono Romano di Roma.
I love that because it's a trait of like psychic mediums, magicians. It's a trait of people that are like trying to create a myth around themselves. So that's all Romans are, just myth making for themselves. That's very cool.
And we get into it in the book for sure. There's a lot of myth busting, so sorry in advance.
Va bene, va bene. Okay, let's open it up for the Q&A. Does anybody have a question?
Yeah.
Yes, Lucy.
So, I follow all your Eater 38 recommendations for Rome. And I guess I'm wondering, it seems like so many restaurants now are just starting to cater to American tastes. Like, I went on the Rochelle, I don't expect you to comment on Rochelle, but I went on their website a couple days ago, and it just looks like they went totally Las Vegas. Like emphasizing their cocktails. I mean, it just didn't seem Roman at all. So how do you avoid that?
It's so interesting. I mean, Rocholi might seem like they're look.
And they're
I honestly,
they're here now. You know?
I'll tell you the deal. So in 2003, 2002, let's back up. Pause. The Rocholi family came to Rome in the 1950s. Marco Rocholi founded a bakery called Antico Forno Rocholi, the ancient bakery of the Rocholi family, in 1972. Nothing ancient about it. And then his sons, against their will, were forced into the family business. And they begrudgingly turned their father's deli, which is near the bakery, into like a kind of bougie, fancy, like, is it a restaurant? Is it a wine bar? Is it a deli? Why is there burrata here? So way before there was any type of like true modern American influence, the Rocholis were already on that edge because the sons just didn't want to do what the dad forced them to do. And so I haven't been on their website, though I have seen they have a lot of cool merch recently, which doesn't feel so Roman. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. It's not exactly like the people toiling at a stove to like make ends meet. It's a business. And I think they like had to rent the place, and so they were paying high rent, and they just had to like cash a check. You know what I mean?
Well, they're monetizing it to the extent.
And I think now more than ever. Like before, they were just like doing their thing and staying above water, and now they're like popping. So
how do you avoid restaurants in Rome that are doing that kind of stuff to get a more authentic experience? That's my question.
I mean, look, there are incredible places. Even Armando al Pantheon, super famous. They do not cater, but they are hospitable. Mazzo in San Lorenzo, like they've been doing their thing for 15 years. They're really devoted to like a cool environment because they're pretty young and they don't want to create a trattoria that feels like it opened in like 1932. Santo Palato, kind of same vibe. Cesare il Casaletto has been there for 70 years. It feels like of the 21st century, but also rooted in tradition. There's so many places, and there are also a lot of modern food concepts that are part of a natural evolution of food, like the trapezzino, the dough and fillings are in the book, is this pizza pita that people have really, really begun to celebrate because it's a cheap way to eat Roman food without having money. Like $5 gets you a meal in a pizza pita. And that's not like a gimmick. It's just a creative guy's idea of like, how do I give people affordable food now that the economy's changed and they can't go to trattoria? So yeah, I mean, I get into it for sure in the book and how trattoria have changed and how the whole city's food culture is in constant evolution. And you know, the way that we eat today, the places that we consider authentic today would be considered wildly modern in 1972. Like things are always changing every 40, 50 years. Great question, thank you.
JP.
What's like and this is kind of with the 1,000 Rome thing, maybe it's a silly question, but like, what would you say is like the average Roman's attitude towards like eating out for like restaurants? Like, is it something that a class only does?
It's a class thing, for sure.
Yeah.
Upper class people can go out regularly, and stipends for middle and working class people tend to not permit them to go out to trattorie or ristoranti very often. And so consequently, regular Romans go to pizzeria if they're going out at night. During the day, if you're working in the center, there's no way you're getting home for lunch. There's too much traffic. Or if you're working anywhere for that matter. So there are a lot of cafeterias.
Is insane.
Ciao, welcome.
Ciao.
Come on in. Fantastico. So, you know, if you're working, whether that's like at the post office or in an office at the city hall, like your lunch break is really short and intense, and you go to a cafeteria and bakeries, bars, all sorts of places have open cafeterias. No, it's great. Yeah. Yeah, the tavola calda, like the steam table.
That's my favorite shit.
It's the best. And affordable. And it's not the same dishes that you find on a trattoria menu. A trattoria is kind of like, we would just call it a restaurant, but it's like a casual place for dining that's not as fancy as a restaurant in a Roman context. But when you go there, you eat things that you can't order at a trattoria, and unless you're invited to a Roman's house for a meal, then you wouldn't be served those things. And that, you know, that's part of like what I attempt in the book. Like, definitely go to Cesare Casaletto, have a seated meal, be served, but also like do a little bit of the more common Roman dining, the way that people eat on the regular rather than on a special occasion or for like a baptism. Thanks, JP.
Yeah. If anyone else has another one? Yeah.
Hi. Does Rome struggle with like over tourism, like Florence or Venice, and are like Italians able to afford life in the center city?
So, I mean, certainly a lot of prices have gone up since the pandemic, and so rents are higher, gas is steady at $8 a gallon. Going out is a little more expensive. I know it's pricey, but the over tourism thing is a little bit different in Rome, because I don't even believe that tourism is the number one driver of business in Rome. I think it's the bureaucracy, and so it's a city that like obviously has a lot of tourists, but also survives on just residents and diplomats and all sorts of other governmental organizations. And it's like the capital of federal government. It's the county seat, all of that. So over tourism in a place like Florence and Venice, you feel it a lot more because those are much smaller cities. Whereas in the center of Rome, you feel it when you're in Campo dei Fiori in the middle of the day and the market is only selling like limoncello and dick-shaped bottles and no Roman has ever bought anything like that. You're like, clearly this place is ruined. There's some tchotchke stores around the Colosseum and Piazza Navona, but like it's not oppressive. And there are real Romans living their lives in those places and doing business like they have for a long time. And then the workers in the neighborhood go to the wine bars and cafeterias and restaurants around there. And then the kind of Airbnb thing that, for example, like Barcelona has protested considerably about. Romans are often the inheritors of property. And so they've actually benefited a lot from the Airbnb economy. And it might not be good for people moving into Rome. It's actually quite bad for people moving into Rome. But for better or worse, the people who have inherited property that was disinhabited, it's driven a little bit more business. Good question, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Last question before we
last question
eat.
before we eat.
Va bene. Sì.
What's next, or are you working on something now?
Oh, Carly, I'm so sleepy. I'm working on getting a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
That's my number one goal.
Yeah.
No, so I like the idea of like playing with different forms of book publishing. And so you'll see like the back of the book it's divided into like drinking and eating. And I want to do like a more expansive food guidebook that's like a paperback even, that's portable. There are a lot of other small independently published books that are like, they're almost like flimsy. They're made inexpensively and they're portable, and I want to be able to also like offer a more approachable product to people that they can put in their bag and take to the Trionfale or Testaccio district without getting like a hernia about it. So I think that's the next step, but first nap.
All right, so now if you made something raise your hand, and then we'll go around the room and we'll just shout out what you made. We'll start over here. Yeah.
Grazie.
Puntarelle.
Fantastico.
Where did you find them?
At the farmer's market in Union Square.
Oh.
Campo Rosso.
No.
Campo Rosso Farm has all sorts of chicories. Shout out to them.
On Saturday. They're the best.
Who's next over here? Yeah.
Broccoli Rob. Is that
I smell it. It smells so good. Who else? Did you made something?
I made vitello tonato, but I couldn't find veal, so I just used like I round like the
Amazing. Beautiful.
I didn't make anything, but I shopped at Russo's.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
great.
The cheese.
I made pizzella, family recipe.
Pizzelle.
Fantastico.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually got Katie's book in pre-order.
Thank
so
you.
I made the concha, which is the fried zucchini from the cookbook.
It's so good.
My favorite vegetable.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fantastic.
another concha. I love it.
This one.
Yeah.
I go this every
The chocolate.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, chocolate and
It's
pear.
gluten free.
Oh, it looks so good. Oh, Mia. What else? Who else?
I
Yeah.
made a buckwheat apple cake that is unfortunately or fortunately not gluten-free.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Bunch of French, I brought 3 cookies.
When I opened the box, most beautiful smell of I guess anise. There was an anise.
There's Musso cookies in there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So good. Thank you. Yeah.
I did a hybrid Jamaican pie, but I also went to Russo's, got some mozzarella, and made like a tomato jam thing.
Amazing.
And I bought some winter focaccia, and then I also had Campo Rosso radicchio in my fridge and like a lemon dressing. So
Incredible.
Amazing.
Killing it.
All right. Anyone else? Yeah.
More zucchini, but yeah, from there, but
Oh, cool.
with mozzarella and bread and grilled peppers.
Awesome.
Missing anybody?
Joe.
Oh, well, I brought
Joe.
a pizza. I did not.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
It's the roast, which is nice. It's not vegan though, because I think they did put a little pecorino on it, just so you know.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Paige.
For hanging and answering all those questions and
Of course.
making this book and always just wanting to bring us the real shit
Of
and the
course,
correct
anytime.
information.
Hell yeah.
And
if you want the real shit, the book is available for sale. It makes a wonderful gift, and I have Sharpies.
and we're broke, so come. Sorry, I've been talking about money with everyone now. It really makes everyone uncomfortable. There's nothing's labeled with the price. That's not on purpose. I'm not trying to cheat you. We just got everything in today, but let us know. And then we have the book up here, and we also have the food of the Italian islands, which we'll grab.
Nice.
And now we'll take 37 seconds to take pictures of all of this, and then manja and party and hang out.
See.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Paige.